Be prepared for highly offensive language throughout and adult and sexual themes.
It's oh so quiet. Shh, shh. It's oh so still. Shh, shh. You're all alone. Shh, shh. And so peaceful until you fall in love. See the sky above.
Oh, Lord! Oh, what a show! Welcome to Celebrity with Brothers Bit on the side. All over a bit of sleep. Where do I even start with tonight's show? Bear and Chloe kissed. They kissed a bit more, then they kissed again for good measure. Heavy D and Renee got seriously MAD. Although Renee says she's not even bothered because she's got a 46-year-old NBA player at home. Do you know what I mean? And if that wasn't enough, there was that Grant Bovey kiss. Where did that come from? Coming up on tonight's show, I'm going to be checking in for an appointment with Dame Judy James is back, everyone. She's going to be talking house dynamics in Psych on the side, and on the eve of our very first celeb eviction of the series, Judge Rylan is back! Yeah, with James and Grant's fate hanging in the balance, two of their friends and family will be here in this very studio to face the toughest judge on television. Sorry, except for Judge Renter. And Judge Studio. So he's the third toughest judge on the telly, guys. Plus, we've got your daily dose of exclusives to keep you going until tomorrow night's live eviction as well. We are spoiling you already, but first, we have got to talk about a lot of things, so I think it's time to meet tonight's panel. Our first panellist is a triple threat, a comedian, an actress, and a TV presenter. And believe me, she knows her way around the bot studio. Goodness gracious me, it's Nina Wadia! Nina! Go on, Zainab! Next up, everyone could benefit from this one because she's right up my street. It's the gorgeous Dee Kelly! And finally, his former dance partners include Patsy Kensit, Lisa Riley, and Deborah Meaden. But how is he going to cope going cheek to cheek with Dee from Benefit Street and Zainab from EastEnders? I do not know. It's Strictly's Robin Windsor. I just want to put it out there as well. I love Deborah Meaden. Right, let's get down to business because there was a lot of business going on in tonight's episode. First up, let's talk about the love triangle. Let's start with Bear and Chloe. Nina, Bear and Chloe, did we see this coming?
Of course we saw that coming. They had no one else to get off with that they liked. So that was pretty much it.
Chloe's got boyfriend. She said that she wasn't single.
Chloe, I don't know if Chloe is single, has a boyfriend, is married, is bisexual. I don't know anything about Chloe. I mean, you could see, make it up, but yeah, you could see that coming a mile off.
Dee, how do you think this is going to play out? Because, look, I thought potentially Bear and Chloe could maybe hit it off. Over the past few days, I thought there is no way this is going to happen. It would have happened by now. And then all of a sudden, bang.
I mean, I'd hazard a guess after watching tonight's show, it's not going to play out very well. It's kind of, you know, it's like Heavy D's had his heart broken, Bear smashed the Big Brother door,
Yeah.
and, you know, it's like, no, it's not good, is it?
Robin, do you think they're a good match, them two?
Absolutely. I mean, I don't think Chloe really knows what's going on so much, but Bear, he absolutely knew what he was doing and he knew what the reaction was going to be and he's got the reaction that he thought he was going to get.
Well, we did get that reaction, and one person who wasn't happy at all was Heavy D. He felt, in his words, that Chloe has led him on. Now, Dee, do we think Chloe has led him on? Because let me just say this, that each to their own opinion, and I know we don't see all 24 hours of the day, but from what we have seen, I don't think I've personally seen her lead him on.
I mean, hand on heart, she hasn't led him on, but he has fallen head over heels in love with that. He has.
I think he lives in a little fantasy land.
He
and
is in
he's
his own little world,
Yeah.
bless him. And I think that's what's probably affected him because he is, you know, I like him.
No!
No, I do. I do. You know, I think he's very out of his depth. He's...
I mean, let me ask this, Nate, do you think he's got a right to feel upset?
No, absolutely not. And I think it's really unfair on Chloe. She's done nothing wrong. You know, she's just got... She's done nothing wrong, so...
Well, look, let's look at it from his point of view. Like, he has made it quite obvious, Robin, that he does like her. He has made that a bit obvious, and they've had a bit of banter about it and whatever. The other night he called her that. Oh, we've all had it going on. But should Bear and Chloe have kissed in front of him? They knew.
No.
At first, it was a little bit of an accident, as we know. And then all of a sudden, he's walked out. They've seen that he's there, and then carried on.
They shouldn't have done that in front of him, and I felt so sorry for him. He's not been one of my favourites at all, but in the diary room, when he was pouring his heart out, saying how sad he felt, that broken-hearted feeling, it's got to be awful, and I felt so sorry for him.
No, it's actually
not.
real. It's a
I
real...
don't think
No, it is. It's a real
he's playing the game as good as anyone
I don't
else.
think he's clever enough to play the game. That's the thing. I really don't.
Well, in yesterday's episode, Heavy D accused Bear of tampering with his bed. We obviously knew it was Chloe, but do we think Bear was purposely trying to get a bit of a one-up there because of what had happened yesterday?
I think Bear is personally desperate to get his leg over, and the only option available to him is actually Chloe. So...
Well, he's obviously, you know, he's counteracting what Dee did, Heavy D. And
Didn't think that would come out.
The dramas have already begun. Let's talk about Biggins, because he said in tonight's show that Bear is absolutely desperate to win. That's the words of Biggins, not mine. Is it a tactic on Bear's part, do you think, Nate?
Bear is a tactic. If there ever was literally a walking tactic, that would be Bear. Everything he does is for a purpose.
Do we think...
I don't think he knows who he is yet. I think he's a lost little boy.
Robin, do you think he is just not using her, for want of a better word, but do we think Bear may be going with Chloe just for the storyline, just for the drama?
Absolutely. No doubt about it. Like I said, he knew exactly what he was doing and the reaction he was going to get, and that's all about tactics. And he's there, like he said, he's there to win.
Well, look, my job on this show is to talk about all the housemates, but if there's one person I wouldn't really want to mess about with in that house, it's Renee. Let's be fair. Now, she's clearly, regardless of what she says, she's clearly got a bit of a thing for Bear. She's had a go at him, but then she says she's got a 46-year-old NBA player indoors. Dee, I mean, good luck to your girl. I mean, go for it. But Dee, do you think that she is hiding some feelings there and she's just putting on the game face?
I think, you know, she has got feelings. I mean, she lunged for Bear the other night in the most cringe-worthy thing I've ever seen in my life. I just think Bear and Chloe should be very, very, very afraid at the moment.
Ning, were you surprised? Oh, what are you doing? What's she doing? Oh, that! Yeah. Oh, I know. I know.
I've ever seen him in that. When she went behind Chloe on the bed.
You know, you get that type of cuddle, then you're in the boot. Do you know what I mean? Next thing you know, you're halfway up the A1. Don't. Watch out. Ning, were you quite surprised, though, to see that side of Renee? Because, yeah, she was dishing it out a bit, but you can see she was...
She was. She's hugely hurt. A woman of her age, 21. She was... Every time she says age, I think it's younger and younger.
Watch out, Zainab. Watch out, Zainab.
She's the most beautiful, mature woman.
Well, do you know what? She did say she was absolutely fine with it all, and we've got to take her word for it, but... Robin, do we think we're going to see Renee hold a grudge now?
Of course, she's going to wait and she's going to plan her revenge and get back on her in a very, very nasty way. She's the one person in the house that you don't want to mess with. And the thing is with Chloe, she went into the diary room, then came out, apologised to say what she'd done, then she went and did it again. I was like, what are you doing? You're just rubbing salt in the wound and it's going to make it worse.
You're a bit like, oh, Chloe, you know, it's a bit of a drunken, you know...
When Renee said the only reason Renee is keeping Chloe on this side of the fence is so it's easier to get to her. It's as simple as...
Well, we've said that she's on that side of the fence. She don't seem to have an issue with Chloe, but Bear, she does have an issue with. So I'm going to bring this to you. Why do we think she's got the issue with Bear and not Chloe? Can I just say, I forgot to put a belt on, so because it's pulling down.
I've got to say, right, there is no way I'll tell you that she likes Bear, but what she does like is having that power trip. She's that big character. She wants to know, I like you, but we're not going to get it on. Yeah, and it's the that control. But you don't actually believe that. Who likes Bear? No one can like Bear. I'm sorry.
Do you agree? Disagree? on, girls. I'll come up.
You've got to stay on the right side of Rennie. I'm sorry. And Chloe, well...
Don't call her an indigestion tablet, for God's sake.
Would I?
Other tablets are available.
Would I? Would I? I wouldn't dare, I tell you. But I think Chloe is a bit scared now because she wouldn't sleep in the bed. I think she was a bit worried getting in bed with Rennie.
She's absolutely crapping herself.
Terrified.
Well, listen, the bear, Heavy D and Chloe love triangle has all accumulated in a majorly aggressive outburst, which was taken very seriously, and it resulted in Bear receiving a formal warning from Big Brother. And as you saw, Bear spent the night in a separate bedroom away from the other housemates. We'll be talking about that a little bit later on. But going forward, do we think Bear's going to be able to learn from his mistakes?
Never in a million years.
No.
He's going to go back to his old behaviour. He might be nice for about 24 hours if he can control himself, but that's about it.
Well, do you know what? We're going to talk about this in a bit more depth a bit later on, but let's go to a lighter note, because one thing I don't think any of us saw coming tonight was this. Have a little look. So we're just having a little casual chat and then boom! Right. Now, it was a casual task, but, I mean, there's having a little laugh and there's going to town. Going to town. Robin, what were we making of this?
Well, at least thought they'd come up for air at some point. Like, they were so into it. They could have gone all night.
They could have gone all night, dude.
Do you know, the laugh is James is probably sitting there thinking, God, I wish I'd have got that task.
Well,
it's the nomination.
You say
thing,
that.
isn't it?
James even mentioned that after that he thinks his words are he's toast. But do we think Grant did that just purely for the task and to get involved and have a laugh? Or do you think in the back of Grant's mind he thought, I'm up for eviction?
I think in the back of Grant's mind he probably thought he's up for eviction, yeah.
Do?
Yeah.
Do you think he's got a career in acting, Lee?
Sorry?
I mean, he went for that.
Yeah, he went for that. I mean, good on him. I mean, he's, you know, you've got to do what you've got to do to stay in the game. He did the right thing.
And if that thing's swanky, good luck to you. Good show, everyone. There we go. A little bit more of that later on, all right, that's that. Still to come, we've got the latest news from the house, plus Dame Judy James is back to talk about the power play between the men and the women of the house. And it is Judgment Day in court as Grant and James's friends and family are in the dock to face Judge Ryland. What a time to be alive. I'll see you after the break. Big Brother's bit on the side. Do you know what? This show is very misunderstood. And do you know what? It's sometimes as misunderstood as Chloe is on a night out.
Why does everyone always think I'm a stripper?
Because you're giving him a lap dance, babe. That's why they think you're a stripper. Come on, do you know what I mean? That's why. One of them. All right, it's time now to check in on what the housemates have been up to today. I'm always afraid to find out, to be fair. It's time for tomorrow's headlines in today's news. At 10:30 this morning, Chloe's relaxing bath was disrupted by a lecture from Syra.
Playing with other people's emotions is going to be very dangerous. I know that you don't like Heavy D, but I'm not sure that Heavy D, you've actually had a sit down with him and you've said, Heavy, I know that you like me. I know that you like me, but Heavy, we're going to be mates in here. I'm really sorry because I actually have feelings for Bear.
No,
straight up.
But can I just speak now? Because I understand exactly what you're saying, and if that was the case, everything you said should have run like that. But I do not have feelings for Bear. Everyone blew it massive, and I just saw it as just a dare.
If I said to you, go and jump off that building for a dare, would you do it?
No, babe, but it's not about... I've not harmed anyone. I've not hurt anyone. Nobody...
You're playing... I'm telling you now, Chloe.
Babe,
you're playing with...
You're too much into it.
You're playing with people's emotions.
No! Trust a loose woman to be telling a young girl that she needs to act more appropriately. Do you know what I'm saying? Come on, girl. And after winning the luxury shopping budget yesterday at 1:40 this afternoon, Frankie and Lewis were putting together a list of, what do we call it? House essential?
All right, so I feel like we're in a good place, barring the fact that we are...
Over budget. What?
I'm only $40 over budget at the moment.
That's amazing.
All right, so
£40.
£40, yeah.
$40.
So $50.
I'm only $40 over budget right
but
now.
let's,
Take off the condoms.
well, that's what I was saying. No, I didn't put them on. But I was just saying,
take
like...
the condoms off. I think we're ready now.
You ready?
No,
So you're
yeah.
ready for a baby?
Oh, come on, mate. I'm joking.
You're gonna be a daddy?
Mate, little daddy blow
You already are my daddy.
Yeah, that's all the house needs right now. Another screaming baby in it. But I can confirm that condoms are provided, as well as a selection of other toiletries by Big Brother during the housemates stay in the Big Brother house. I can confirm that. Later at 1:54 this afternoon, Syra had a bit of a strange turn and she started defending Bear to the rest of the house.
Do you think Bear's going to come back?
I reckon he'll come back tomorrow. I reckon he'll give him a day off and give him a warning.
I think we should give everybody a chance to change. I've fucked up in this house. I've said things out of order. I'm learning, I'm developing. The world I come from, you don't write everybody off on the first day. Otherwise, I would have been walking up those stairs 2 hours before I'd even entered.
Do you know what? Every day it'd be a bigger man for you, yeah, to walk in. When he walks in, just go, listen. If he does walk in, just go, look. It's not up to us, though, is it? Yeah. I'm saying if he does walk in, yeah, you'll be much bigger, and I know this will be tough, mate. I know this will be tough. And go, look, I'm really upset with what happened last night, but I don't want it to ruin my experience. So if you're happy, I offer you a handshake and we put it behind us.
I mean, come on, Syra's switching sides so much I can barely keep up. No, today's news. They're getting worse. And now she has got the knowledge, she's got the chat, she's got a cracking pair of pins. It's time for... How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm
Look at
fine.
the officials you're getting tonight.
Oh, bless you. Pay you later.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? What are you making of our new house?
Horrible, horrible, horrible. Unbelievably horrible, but great television. I mean, you've got these Jurassic... I love a geezer, but these are like
she loves a geezer.
Jurassic geezer. And some of the most pathetic women that I think we've ever had in there, actually. It's so bad. I've actually started to like Frankie.
Well, listen, after tonight's episode especially, I think we need to talk about the behaviour of some of the men in that house, because they do seem to be getting a bit leery. Let's start with Bear. A lot of drama tonight.
Yes.
Seemingly, I think it's safe to say, all stem from this moment.
Vinny will kick my face in.
1920, something again.
Really gonna get me back. I'm gonna get my head kicked in.
Judy James.
Yes.
What are you making of that?
I love this because Bear, this was his revenge night and it was done forensically. And I'm not saying he was right in doing it, but, you know, using women like that is just, I mean, she could have been an inflatable doll, really, couldn't she? But it was just the way he kept looking. They said he never forgets, and he doesn't. And he'd been storing it up against...
I thought that was an elephant, not a bear.
Well, and
Getting worse, aren't I? Honestly, I'm knackered, look at me.
You're even more deadly when you're knackered. Damn you. No, I just watched him. And Renee copped it. I mean, he was watching to make sure she was watching. They all fell for the bait, and more for them, actually, just because he was kissing. You know, it was just... I loved it. And can I just mention the Bear effect in that house? The big thing about Bear is... the effect that he has on everybody else. Whether he can help his own behaviour or not, I don't know. But grown-ups are falling like packs of cards. They're all coming out with the most awful... They're fighting him on his own level, and even Biggins, you know, by calling him stupid, which meant that they could tell Biggins off. And James, you know, throwing that coffee over his head. One by one, he's actually bringing out the more horrible side of all of them, and that's going to be a very toxic effect.
Let's chat about the moment. This really made me giggle. It was quite a hard episode to watch, especially sort of part 3 and part 4. But we need to talk about this moment, that the security guard came into the diary room. He shit himself! Jenny! Well, look, I've got to say, For one of, you know, I'm not saying favouritism or anything like that, but Bear, I mean, he's given us a lot of content at the minute, and we're seeing a lot from him. Yeah. But that moment, literally, let me out, let me out. Hello, mate, I'm so sorry, I didn't do nothing wrong. I didn't do nothing. What were you making of that?
I loved it because he actually knows no fear. I mean, you watched him stand up to other people in the house and he won't back down. He's not scared of anybody. And I thought he was quite tall as well. And then suddenly he opened the door and I don't know how tall that security guard was. He was just a tiny little man. He looks like a little doll.
Oh, but do you know what? In all fair, I felt for him a little bit there. I was like, oh, he's caught into that.
I think it was kind of Pavlov's dog response, because I think that was very much like, you know, when you go out for an evening at a club, there's the security on the door on the way out.
It's a bit like school. It's like a teacher's walked in and you're like, oh, sorry, sir, I do apologise. Let's talk about... I want to carry on talking about the men, but what I don't understand, we've got a lot of strong women.
Yeah.
Well, no, we have. In life and the jobs that they do, we've got a lot of strong women in there. You know, they stand up for themselves. They're very opinionated. Why is it that the men seem to be running this house?
The women are being... I can't explain how pathetic I'm finding the women at the moment. They're being used as meat. They're being used as trophies. Even the stronger women are playing it so badly wrong. And again, they're fighting them at their level. They're doing things like sneakily filling up their shoes with water. They should just go in there and flex their muscles and show them what's what. I can't believe, these aren't big, strong guys. They're just silly kids, really, and they've lost the ammunition. I think, for me, it might have started on day one, when Sarah was kind of fighting it wrong, and I think that kind of kicked off some of the aggression. But after that, it's... And by the way, Lewis, have you seen my penis bluer? He's so in charge of that place. He's like the ringmaster. That guy is running everything in that house at the moment. Everything, he's promoting it, he's pushing it. And unfortunately, he's coming out smelling of roses. He's looking like the good guy now. So a lot of it is to do with him.
Well, let's talk about Heavy D quickly, because normally when there's, like, we've seen confrontation with him and the squad, you know, inter-squad confrontation. But normally with Heavy D, he laughs it off, doesn't he? Normally just laughs it off. Here's an example of what I mean.
Why? Why are you being a cunt to him for?
I haven't done nothing.
The thing is, I'm friends with Bear. I'm friends with them. I found that awkward because I'm friends with them. I don't want to fall out with them. I generally do feel like Bear does...
I'm really disappointed in you, mate.
Listen. Come on now.
You're being an arsehole. Do you know what you're being? You're being the Heavy D that's on Storage Hunters that no one likes.
Right, now let's talk about how... Go on, Ian.
That was just like that.
He laughs it off. After seeing his reaction tonight, what do you make of the laughing off? Is that his coping mechanism, or is that him covering up, or is that what he's normally like, and tonight was a one-off?
Yeah, he does what's called a brick-on-elastic technique, which is where he'll throw out something a bit naughty or a bit unpleasant, and then he'll take it away by chuckling and pretending, oh, it's just a little bit of banter. That laugh, and it's very interesting to analyse people's laughs in terms of their body language, that laugh is not a laugh to do with humour. He opens his mouth wide up to everybody, which is quite threatening. He lets out a staccato sort of chucking noise, which is actually animal aggression. In the meantime, his eyes are monitoring everybody to see what their responses are. And if you saw at the end of that one, he stuck his tongue out at the end as well. That's not a proper laugh. That's an act of aggression and evaluation.
I want to think you do this for a job.
No.
I'll tell you. We say that the women aren't being too strong in the house at the minute. It's quite male-dominant, but we have got a very strong woman in there, and that's Renee. But she took it to a whole new mafia level, putting Chloe and Bear back in their place. Let's have a reminder of that.
Guido, do you realize that I have a 46-year-old man at home who plays for the NBA? I am in the best position of my life. So if by chance you thought in any way, shape, or form that this young 26-year-old boy is going to sweep me off my feet, absolutely not. So you do what you need to do. You're still on my side of the fence, and that's where you'll remain. It's not a surprise anymore. He witnessed it. He saw it. He sat in the chair. He felt like a jerk-off. He felt demeaned. He felt belittled. Other people were insulted. It was wrong on your part.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but as from a viewer's point of view, so far, watching the last 7 days, Renee, out of all the women, is, in my eyes, the only one that probably could take control of this situation and the house as a woman at the moment. You know, I can't see any of the others doing it. What do you make of it?
Renee should actually be alpha female in there at the moment. I thought she had a lot of promise. She's obviously got the gift of the gab. She's very strong. She's been there, done it, etc. But I think she fell at the hurdle again of Bear. She was patently so gutted and jealous when she saw him out in the garden. And she should never have shown that weakness. She didn't need to tell him who she's dating or how wonderful she looked. She should have just ignored him. However, she's still the only one with potential to take him on. I think the other ones have either... You could see them there, they were sniffing their own hair in fear. I mean, they just looked like little meerkats. I thought Sam Fox would have been out there by now.
That's what I thought. I thought Sam Fox would have stepped up and said, do you know what, I'm not having this, I'm not having this. We've seen Sam Fox, grown up in this country, you know, we've seen Sam Fox do other shows and be quite feisty. I thought she would step up to that.
I was really disappointed in her. I'm like, where's Sam got to? Because
come on, Sam Fox! Where are you, girl? Talking of the other housemates, some of the other ones got very upset about the conflict that was going on in the bedroom. It all seemed a bit uncomfortable. But if you notice this, Aubrey didn't. She got quite excited. She was giving it the little clap. Where is it? Here we go. Look, ooh, love a bit drama. Love a bit drama. How much of a psychological impact last night in that bedroom do we think is going to have on the rest of the house?
I think it's beginning to look real now. I don't think they were quite sure how genuine the aggression was. But don't forget, this house is under a massive amount of threat. And that, again, happened on day one, where Lewis and his little gang of 3, and never mind that they're fighting amongst themselves, they showed that they could take anybody down with this kind of pranking and teasing. Now, in a small place like that, and I think Anne Diamond said last night, you want your bed to be a refuge. You don't want to find stuff in it and things like that.
TV legend, Anne Diamond, let me just say.
That would be so utterly intimidating. And you must know this as well. You know, it's just the threat that they might suddenly turn on you. And they were picking people off in the early days and ridicule you. I was really worried for Biggins. I thought they're just going to turn their gun turrets on him soon. I wanted to do an SOB, Save Our Biggins.
Save Our Biggins, Save Our Biggins. Well, do you know what? I've got to say this. That has just made sense of a hell of a lot. Dame Judy James, ladies and gentlemen. It really has. Lovely hairdos tonight. Lovely, very dramatic. Love it. Still to come, Paul is back in session when the housemates, friends and family take to the stand to defend their loved ones in Judge Ryland, and we've got a juicy exclusive for them. But first, just in case you've been living under a rock, this Friday we'll see the first eviction of the Celeb series, and the only opinion that actually matters is yours. Here's the all-important numbers you need. Who stays? You decide. This week, Grant and James face the public vote. Who stays, you decide. To save Grant, from a landline, call 090 20 44 58 06, or from a mobile, call 650 58 06. To save James, from a landline, call 090 20 44 58 08, or from a mobile, call 650 58 08. Calls to the long number will cost 50p plus your network access charge. Calls to the short number will cost 50p. Voting closes in Friday's eviction show. If you're watching on catch-up after that or outside the UK, please don't vote. Votes cast after the lines close won't count. You can find terms on the Big Brother website. Celebrity Big Brother's bit on the side. Do you know what? We're that show that makes you go... Thanks, Syra. Now it's only day 7, but the housemates have made us laugh, haven't they? They've made us laugh. They've made us cry a couple of times. They've made us cringe, I'll tell you that one. But prepare yourself for all 3 as they do their best to make you lot chuckle. This is our housemates telling their best jokes.
OK, so I see a girl at a bar, right? She starts rolling her eyes at me. Know what I did? I picked them up and I rolled them back.
What do you call a man who doesn't have any shins? Tony.
There is this guy, all right, this geezer, proper geezer, walks into a bar and says, ouch. That's it, it's terrible, I know, it's rubbish.
I went to the doctor and I said, I've got a strawberry growing out my head. And the doctor said, I'll get you some cream for that.
So I used to be an origami teacher, but I had to quit. It was too much paperwork.
You got
Sushi A and Sushi B, right? So they're going to meet up, go to the cinema, chill out a bit. So basically, Sushi A goes to Sushi B. What's up, B? What's up, B? What's up, B? Do you get it? Oh, never mind.
What does a painter do not to get cold? Put on another coat. I don't know why it was northern.
Why can't fish sing in tune? You know? No? Because you can't tune a fish.
Why didn't the skeleton cross the road? Because he didn't have the guts.
I just shot my dog. Was he mad? Well, he wasn't very pleased.
What kind of pictures do turtles take? Shelfies.
So, why does Snoop Dogg carry an umbrella? For drizzle.
Why can't dinosaurs talk? Because they're dead.
Oh, housemates. Not good. Well, listen, from crimes against humour to crimes against Big Brother. It's time for... Hello, class.
I want a nice clean fight, all right?
Two balls, please.
Boy, red card.
Advantage, bomb. Illegal ball toss.
Keep our ring clean.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, court is now in session. Please be upstanding for the Right Honourable Judge Ryland Clark Neal.
Order. Tonight we're gathered in this court to hear cases against the defendants Grant and James, who are both charged with crimes against the state of celebrity Big Brother. Now, the defendants are both under house arrest, so they're unable to attend these proceedings. However, I have expert witnesses in the form of their friends and family to plead their innocence. The house plaintiffs have collected some damning evidence and delivered their Order! They've delivered their verdicts to the public. So first defending Grant, it's his nephew, Chris. Chris, please take to the stand. Order! Order! Now, the prosecution have submitted the following evidence against Grant. Let's take a look.
My second nomination this week is Grant.
Grant.
Grant. Grant.
Grant.
Anthea, his wife, was a great friend of mine, and I think perhaps she was treated quite badly by him.
He's more quiet. He doesn't initiate tremendous conversation.
He's been snoring and coughing, which led me to sleep on the floor.
He's kind of like kept himself to himself. You know, we're all in a house to get to know each other, and I just don't feel he's been doing that.
Order! OK, Chris, as Grant's defence, what's your response to the housemates' accusations that he's not been interacting with them?
I think he's been going around the house more and more, starting to do so. He's not in the limelight like some of them. You know, they want the limelight. He's just chatting to people one-on-one, trying to enjoy himself.
Well, Ricky claims that Grant has been keeping... Order! Ricky has claimed that Grant has been keeping housemates up with his snoring. Is that a valid piece of evidence against him?
Who's Ricky?
Oh,
right, sorry.
Slander in the courtroom, slander.
No, listen, if it was a real problem, I think a lot of the housemates would have mentioned this when they put him up, but no one did.
Well, he has been accused, though, by his fellow defendant James of trying to fit in with the younger crowd. How do you respond?
Well, I think, firstly, James is jealous because the younger crowd don't really like him. But also, to start with, he was with the older crowd, but they threw him under the bus when it came to nominations, so why not? Get on with everyone.
OK, I think I've heard enough. Chris? I understand you've prepared your closing statement. You have 10 seconds to convince the public jury to keep Grant in. Straight down the camera, you may begin.
Keep Grant in because Grant has shown he's having fun, he's doing silly tasks to make sure people win everything, and also he's getting more and more fun as it goes on. Vote Jibo.
Silence! Time's up! Silence! Silence! Thank you, Chris. You now need leave the dock. Return to your seat.
Well done, Chris. That was great.
Next up, defending James, it's his friend James Cosmo. You might recognise him from Game of Thrones, but we're not here to talk about that. James, please take to the stand. Order!
You said we were going to talk for 10 minutes.
Order! You do not talk. OK, James, a.k.a. Lord Commander, but we're not talking about that.
Why not?
Order! The prosecution against your friend James Well has put forward the following evidence. Let's take a look.
My first nomination is James.
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 James. James.
James.
James Well.
He's been butting heads with some of the younger members in the House.
He wants ultimate respect. I think his ego's too big for this house.
I see James Well as a bit of a threat, and by getting rid of him now would be beneficial to me.
I think James is more entertained with his perspectives in conversations versus everyone else's.
His humour is really shit. You know, he's bringing the mood down. Right down. He's boring me to tears.
Order! Now, the plaintiff, Heavy D, claimed that James is playing a tactical game. Is this true?
No, it's not true. James and one other are the only people who are not playing a tactical game.
Order! Would you like to name...
what?
Would you like to name the other?
OK, I will name the other. Sam Fox.
OK. Order! Stop playing it to the crowd, Joe.
I can't help it. I'm an actor. I can't help it.
Shush. Evidence from Aubrey suggests that James is not interested in the opinions of others, as stubborn as King Geoffrey on the Iron Throne. How do you respond?
The Big Brother thing does look like the Iron Throne.
Oh, stop making this about your work, please. Come on.
That was...
Does he
Game
listen
of
to
Thrones.
others' opinions, James?
No, what was the question again?
You've lost your chance now. Evidence from Aubrey suggests that James is not interested in opinions of others. Do you agree?
I think James's career shows that he is a person who is incredibly interested in other people's opinions. But he listens to people. And when James speaks, he's got something sensible to say.
You're boring me now, James. I understand you've prepared your closing statement. You're going to have 10 seconds to convince the public jury to keep James in. You may begin.
Please vote for James Whale. He's a wonderful man, and next week you will see the real James appear, and he's going to be very, very interesting.
Order in the court! Order! Thank you, James. Your time is done. It's a bit like this.
Do I have to leave now?
No, it's a bit like when summer's over and winter's coming, because that's
that's from Game of Thrones.
Go and take your seat. Get. Order. Come on now. Come on. Chris and James, a massive thank you for your testimonies today. You're officially dismissed from the court. The case is now adjourned for the jury to consider their verdict. Judge Willis will be presiding over sentencing tomorrow night, and after the break, I've got an exclusive clip of that moment that Bear returned to the Big Brother house. Order! And our panel will be having their say on who should be sentenced to eviction, but as ever, the final verdict lies with you at home. You be the judge. Here's the numbers you need. Who stays? Order! You decide. Order! This week, Ron and James face the public vote. Who stays? You decide. To save Grant, from a landline, call 090 20 44 58 06, or from a mobile, call 650 58 06. To save James, from a landline, call 090 20 44 58 08, or from a mobile, call 650 58 08. Calls to the long number will cost 50 pence plus your network access charge. Calls to the short number will cost 50 pence. Voting closes in Friday's eviction show. If you're watching on catch-up after that or outside the UK, please don't vote. Votes cast after lines close won't count. You can find terms on the Big Brother website. Welcome back to Celebrity Big Brother's bit on the side. I'm actually here in the Bots Gallery. I don't know if you know this at home, but this is the home of all the Bots artificials that actually work. They work through the night to make sure all you humans get the news and exclusives that you need. You all right, Bots artificials? Wave. Put your hands down and up. Stroke the person to your left's face. Harder. Harder. They're real people. Roll the VT.
Did someone press the diary?
People shoot.
Right, gang.
Hello.
How are we doing? What are you making,
Doing
mate?
the best as we can.
Lovely. Head on for a coffee.
No, thank you.
What have I missed?
Babe.
You have stuff all over this.
So what have I missed? All I'm going to say is last night my behaviour was not acceptable and you'll never see that again. That was horrible. I apologise for it.
Thank you.
Also, it's one of the worst kisses I've had as well, so...
He was doing awful right up until then, Neen. What did you make of that?
What did I tell you? Will Bear change his ways after Big Brother stormed off? No chance. And that was just, like, literally just turning that knife.
He could have come in and gone, look, do you know what, guys? Apologise for last night, rah, rah, rah.
No.
And that was it, which is half what he did.
Yeah.
And then, by the way, it was the worst kiss I've had. Dave, can you believe it?
Do you know, I think he's just a nasty.
He
If
is.
my daughter ever brought anyone like that near my house...
Oh, Bear, what have you done? Oh, well, it's not about Bear. Tomorrow night, James and Grant face their biggest critics yet. It's you, the viewers at home. You're going to be voting to save your fave. But who do our panel and audience think should go? We have got just over a minute on the clock to talk about each housemate. When the time's up, we'll hear one of our housemates' most famous quotes. So let's kick things off with Grant. Let's start the clock. Natty off. Nina, Dana, go!
Grant, but I don't have feelings one way or the other about this man. I've not seen enough from him. I don't know what to think. The fact that he did the kiss with Frankie, I think is going to help him. But that's about it.
Dave?
I sound like a Dave. I've seen enough of him and he's cringy and cringy.
Not a fan?
No, you know,
Reg?
no G-Bo.
Reg.
I'd definitely pick up the phone and vote for him after that kiss, that one for me.
Grant!
I think, no, he's got to go because if he stays in there, he's going to make a bigger fool of himself.
You think that's for his own benefit, Emmy?
I love Grant. I think he's very good looking. He's got a lot of character to come. No, you have to wait for him. He's a good-looking guy. He's got a lot to give. So boo-hoo, whatever.
I think he's boring. Get him out.
No!
Anyone else?
I think he's actually quite creepy, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah,
Who wants him to start?
I think the honeymoon is
sorry,
over.
babe. I'm sorry. We've got to move on to James. Start that clock. Robin.
Not a fan. I haven't been since the beginning. I'm supposed to be picking them up, aren't I? Are we on a keep them in?
Not a fan?
Not a fan.
Not a fan, D.
I love a grumpy old man, aren't I?
You want him to stay?
Yeah, I'd rather him stay out the two, yeah.
Nina!
No, I think I will because he's at least got a bit of character that I think, and I know him outside of this, and he's actually a lovely person. There you go.
Okay, fair enough. James Whale.
I think he's got things going on outside the house that he's grumpy about, you know, like underlining issues that he's not really showing on camera.
Well, we can neither confirm nor deny that rumour. We have time to go what's going on in the house. Bob, Bob.
Just because he's not sitting there grinning and laughing all the time doesn't mean he's grumpy. It's an older fella.
Key, what do you think?
I love James. I think he's wonderful. We haven't seen all of him yet. I think he's going to come into his own skin.
He will.
He's going to come into his own skin.
Absolutely. He was so horrible to
I think that's probably curtains for me.
Oh, well, I have got 40 seconds left. I'm going to go down the panel. Who do you want out tomorrow night, James or Grant? Robin?
James.
James. D.
G-Bo, J-Bo.
Dina.
Grant.
Who do we want out tomorrow?
Grant. Grant.
Grant.
Grant. Grant. Grant.
Grant.
James. Grant. Grant.
Grant. Grant.
James.
Grant. Grant.
Grant. Grant Sleazebag. Grant. James.
Grant.
Grant. Grant.
Grant.
James.
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 Grant.
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 James.
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 Oh, that's all I've got time for tonight. A massive thank you to my panel and a fantastic audience. I'll be back here tomorrow night at 11:05, straight after your first live eviction of the series. Sam Bailey, Kirk Norcross, James Tyndale, and of course either James or Grant. It's up to you. I'll see you tonight. 9 up.